Alright, teachers, welcome to the next video in our training series. I just finished doing the scope and sequence, and so when you click into the curriculum maps link here at the top, we're going to jump into concept 1, but everything applies to every unit. This is going to land us on page 1, which I call the curriculum landing page. So we're just going to focus this video on page number 1 because this is going to help you kind of frame out what your unit looks like. So I want all teachers to kind of start here. I'm going to start up in the top left and we're kind of work our way down and across, so that way it's kind of comprehensive and what's all here for you to utilize and what's the best practice. So starting off, these are just quick links to bring you down the page. So let's say I'm in chapter 5 and I don't feel like scrolling. I can just click this bookmark and all of a sudden now I'm down the page at chapter 5. I didn't go to anything new. They're just all bookmarked for navigation reasons. If biology isn't like your background and you're not sure about certain topics, I do have teacher background knowledge pages. So you can, let's say, open up chapter 3. And these are actually from your teacher's edition book. So you can certainly use that. But here are some teacher's notes that should help you in your planning. You can also access these in your book. Structuring the science block. This is actually an older document, not created by me, but I know most of our schools have switched over to the block schedule. This just highlights some good ways for you to utilize that time. I think you guys have about 80 minutes, 90 minutes, and so you don't want to do just one activity for the whole lesson, or you're done in 30 minutes and you say, and now go work for the next 50. Like, those aren't the best practices. So how do we utilize that time, build in some breaks, have different activities, stations, whatever it is, so that document highlights some of those. Again, not mine, but still a useful document. And we talked about the proficiency scales being on the scope and sequence. Those are here as well, so use those if you would like. And those assessments we talked about in the scope and sequence. If you want more info on those, go back to that previous video, but I highlighted what those could be useful for. Next up, all of our district resources. These are all links that will take you. So like if you need to get to Biozone, this will take you there. If you want to get to Gizmos, VET, I need to update this, but it's not Illuminate anymore. It's Renaissance, but it'll still get you to the right place. Same thing with nearpodstudy.com. So these will be useful for you getting where you need to go. If you want to get to all of the district curriculum, I have multiple places. You can get on the district website, and that's my own website here. That link will take you to here. I've got some information up at the top. If you just come down, here's all the different grade levels. You would click on biology and then take you to the scope and sequence. So just so you know, there's multiple ways of getting to the content that you need for my stuff. So that pretty much covers all of this. Moving on over. Each unit is framed around an anchoring phenomenon as well as a unit project. And so this will be a way that you could introduce the unit and finish the unit so that students kind of have like a story that's going on as they learn about these different topics. This first one introduces students to Biosphere 2, which is a project scientists built out in the desert to try to mimic what would it be like if we wanted to try to have a habitat on another planet, say Mars. How could you have a contained system for developing that? And so students can look at what was that, how did it work, how did it fail. And as they learn about the different topics, they'll be able to apply some of their knowledge back to this. And so being able to come back and address that at the end. There's actually one of the activities from the book that talks about this. So this is actually perfect for introducing. And then one of the later chapters at the end of this unit talks about Biosphere 2 and having students try to answer some of those questions. There's also a couple of guiding questions. These are like big picture questions for the whole unit. So that's something that students can try to answer by the end. These might be good CER style questions for the end of the unit. And then to tie all that together, because obviously a unit's a long time, how are students going to keep remembering, like we're trying to learn about Biosphere 2 and answer the questions, as I created these posters, and I'll open one up, that should highlight, and I would suggest having these posted up by the door, so students come in and they're reminded, oh yeah, we're in this unit, we've learned about Biosphere 2 and trying to answer some sort of question around why did it fail or how could we improve it. We're going through these different chapters that all somehow connect to point us into how to better use that biosphere too. And there's our guiding question. So these posters, while looking cool, also help remind students about what it is that we're learning about. So feel free to print those off and use. I don't currently have any example lesson plans since I've updated everything, but maybe by the time you watch this, there'll be something here. The Ready for Rigor framework, this just matches our district's policy on the Ready for Rigor framework and kind of outlines. There's a video inside of there that explains all of it, so you can go check that out. The Concept 1 outline map, these are actually from the book as well. Each unit they start off with, they have a concept outline map. Students can use these as little note sheets to see how different topics connect. Feel free to use it as you'd like. If you don't like this blurry version, because this is just a screenshot, your book has these in them, so you can access those. And then I've kind of been talking about how I want these units to feel like a story. So this storyline helps you see how all these different concepts come together. So you can kind of see page 1, we haven't done a lot of like, this has helped me plan out a ton of lessons, but is helping me to frame my entire unit in terms of a story that's going to help students remember all the parts that they're learning and how they all connect, which I think is really big for students in the science subjects. So next time we're going to scroll down and get into the actual pacing guide where a lot of your resources come together to help you plan out engaging lessons. So I will see you guys in that video. Bye.